We're live. Ramy, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Excellent. This
Doing well.
is episode 1 of Side Talk, the Ramy and Craig show, if you will. How are you feeling today, Ramy?
Um, it's raining here, so that tide always takes kind of the edge off things. I'm feeling good, you know.
Where are you, Ramy?
I'm in Cartagena, Colombia
Okay,
at the
just for a
moment.
little vacation.
Yeah, a little getaway. You can't go really too far these days,
Yeah,
for obvious reasons. So, yeah, just to change the mood, get my little noggin going on
yeah,
some things, and do our show, of course.
absolutely. Little reference for anybody who is wondering who Ramy is, who Craig is. Ramy is from the United States. He's from Jersey, and he's lived in Colombia for a while, and he's on his vacation in Cartagena. He's actually lives in Medellin. And Craig, he lives now in Belfast, but Ramy and I met in Colombia
That is right. We How long has it been, Craig? I want to say 3 years now.
about three
More.
years, 2017 at least.
Yep, 3 years. Three
Yeah,
years.
feels
Yep.
like a lifetime.
Yeah. I feel like I've known you for a lifetime.
Hmm, yeah,
Oh.
that's very cute. Well, today, Ramy, we're going to get into a little bit of your story. We
All
might
right.
touch on how we met a little bit, but yeah, do you want to take the reins on this?
Sure. So, Craig and I was living. I was in my first apartment in
Hmm.
Colombia, I believe, and it was in a little neighborhood, barrio, right?
Mhm.
And across the street from me was a shared apartment. What do you call it these days? A hostel, but it wasn't a professional hostel, right?
Yeah, it was just like a shared house. There was an owner,
Shared house.
and
There you go.
yeah, they spruced it up and then rented it out to mostly sort of international students.
Right. So I got kicked out of my apartment, right? And Colombia, it's kind of difficult to find residence if you are a foreigner.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm
Wait,
not
wait,
gonna get
wait,
into that
wait.
nonsense.
Why did you get kicked out? Why did you get kicked out?
um, well, I was living in this two-story house, right?
Hmm.
And I just came to Colombia, and I'm a pretty, I want to say a party animal, like someone told me yesterday that I
Don't know,
was.
don't know who would say that.
Yeah, right. But I like to have fun, right? And I am loud. I am American, so it's just a natural kind of thing for me,
Okay.
right? So the family downstairs, I did not realize this. They could hear, this barrio I was in. What do you remember? What was it called? I forget, right? This barrio I was in, you could literally. People always say this, but you could literally drop needles, pin drops, right, and hear it at night. That's how quiet it is at night here, right? And I was talking loud. I used to, bring friends over, right? And
Yeah,
and anyway, they did not like that too much. I mean, they could hear my conversations. I mean, it was that like kind of thing,
were your
So,
friends pretty noisy then?
well, well,
Touche.
I mean, I don't even know if I should say this, but hey, why not, right? So, right,
You say you wait, wait, listen. You say what you want, and you don't have to say anything you don't want to
Yeah,
say.
all right, all right, all right. Um, let's say she wrote an email to the owner of the apartment, the family downstairs, and wrote a list of things, right? That was the things that I was doing that was causing the serious. She wrote, in Spanish, she wrote serious, very serious issues, and one of them was female public orgasms. Well, all right. So, right, so like,
Actually,
right, yes, I don't think I even told you that, right?
no.
No, that's what, look at his face, people. He's surprised,
That's amazing. If anyone's listening, I think they'll be enjoying that as much as I am.
Right. So, I mean, she
It's a little bit
literally
of.
wrote that.
I feel like a little bit of pride for you as well. Like a little like
Well,
if there's any guys listening to this, there's a bit of respect there. Like good job, boyo. And there's a
well,
few.
listen, I honestly didn't. I always don't know how loud I am. Right. First of all, right.
I know, I've heard
And
you.
right. um, and this was, I told you, a quiet neighborhood. So one time I had, a friend over, right?
Mm.
And, she was very, very loud. Because my buddy I met another friend before I met you, Craig. There was people before you,
Yeah.
right? And he was telling me, he called me, he's like, yo, the whole neighborhood is going out their house and like listening to you. Oh,
Really?
yeah, like,
What
because
the hell?
because it's so loud, and I just even anyway,
That's insane, bro. Okay.
the owner of the apartment didn't take kind to those sort of things, so she was like, get the fuck out. So I couldn't find a crib. I saw that they were just opening up a shared apartment across the um the way, and I was like, hey, I got no choice, it's moving day, and I went in. So,
Your
uh,
phone's ringing there.
well, no, that's the
Is that
doorman.
room service?
It is kind of room service, right?
Okay.
Anyway, right. So I moved in, and I think Craig, with his lovely blue eyes and kind of, happy-go-lucky look, uh,
Incredibly compelling demeanor.
compelling. I mean, I remember when you came into Casali, right? That uh, all the girls that were there, including myself, including the girl that was with
Wait.
me. It was like
Okay.
a star coming out of, like a shining bright. Oh. Anyway, I thought, Craig, I thought you were kind of this, you know, just kind of come to Colombia, party my life away, and
Right.
leave. You know.
Hmm.
But I found Craig to be gentle, kind-hearted, and considerate. You know? And that's
That's
how we
so
became friends.
weird. That's so weird to hear that.
I know.
Well, I
Well,
like it though. That's a nice bio. I can't really.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Good. Good.
uh,
You did a good
right.
job of describing that.
Yeah, I hope I do.
Yeah.
Did.
It was kind of it was a strange one, and we talked last night. One thing that I noticed about Ramy was his kind of thoughtfulness and kindness. So one of the things that when you move into a new apartment or a shared place, a lot of people are very protective of their stuff. You know, it could be salt, it could be olive oil, it could be anything, and they'll say, we'll put in money and we can get something together. Or if you want some of my stuff, just ask me before. I've met a lot of people like that, and I get it as well. But I just thought it was very refreshing for this fella that I hadn't met before to say, so Craig, yeah, like you need anything out of my cupboard or the fridge or any of my stuff, just work away. It doesn't matter what it is. Um, it was just very generous, and I thought, okay, this guy's different. He's a good guy. So um, that
Well,
got us
thanks,
off
man.
on the right foot.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to have met you. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to the juicy
Yeah.
stuff.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go talk about your story, Ramy, how you actually got to Colombia. It's a bit
Mm.
of a crazy story in my view. So take it away.
Okay, so I guess we got time for the long version because a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
people
yeah,
always ask me this, right? So
yeah. Go ahead.
let's go back
Oh.
to right, right. Let's so 2014. Okay, I'm in New York City. Um, just broke up with a longtime girlfriend, right? And I want just to, I'm always looking for things, right? So like I want to get away, and just like, hey, look, I want to forget about what was going on back home, right? So I went to Cartagena, right, with my friends. Great trip, right? 2011. I mean, it was pre, touristy. It was just like pretty much we were like the only kind of Americans there, besides maybe a few others, right? Great trip, right? So it was, I'm sorry, 2010. So it was 4 years since I've been, right? Um, I go uh, I break up with my girl, right? I go to my friend, hey man, let's just take a vacation, right? And let's take a vacation. And I was like, why don't we go back to Cartagena, right? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's go, right? Me and him went, you know, uh, you know, it was a great time, great vacation, you know. Um, I met a girl, right? Dun, 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 right. I took a liking to this girl, so we kept on texting back and forth, right? And I kind of probably fell in love with her. Not probably, I did, right?
Okay.
So anyway, between these times, okay, so I wanted to surprise her and go back to Cartagena, right? But like all, you know, hot-blooded Colombian women, we fought and we broke up. So we broke up, but I bought the ticket already,
Mm.
right? I was like, well, I'm not gonna miss this trip, So I went by myself. Again, great trip, by myself, right? The previous trip where I met her, I kept on hearing murmurs of Medellin. Oh, Medellin, right? They were like, don't go to Medellin, those paisas. And paisas are what they call the people who live in that region, Antioquia,
Mhm.
but specifically Medellin, right?
Paises are a very special breed of Colombian.
I mean, even the Colombian, they're famous among the Colombians, right? So they're don't go, but you should go. Right? I was like one
Yeah.
of those. So when I went back, I was like, you know what? Why don't I take a weekend and just go to Medellin because it was cheap. I found out how to navigate through Colombia cheaply the last time I was here. Right. So I went. Right. It was supposed to be a Thursday because okay. So I left even I packed. I always pack a lot. I bring a
Mhm.
fucking
You're like a
check-in.
woman.
I am. You see me. He's telling you from experience, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So I pack all this stuff all the time, right? So I had like a little suitcase, my carry-on, right, and this, right. So I left it in Cartagena because I was like, hey, I'm gonna come back Sunday and go back to New York, right. So I left it with some friends in Cartagena. I took my thing, boom, great trip again. Medellin was exciting. It was different than Cartagena. It was, you know, uh, you know, all the things that you would like about any place. Great, food, the weather, girls, everything, right?
Mm.
Right. So my trip was Sunday morning, and I always do this. This is a kind of routine. I party the whole night, right? And I just go straight to the airport because I was like, oh, I'll sleep on the plane, or
Just a
you know,
normal routine, it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
everybody does that, right? So, so I had this little man purse at the time, right? And it was like I had my passport, I had like $400 in cash, I had two watches, I like all my little, right?
I'm picturing the guy
So
out of The Hangover, the Zach Galifianakis plays. What do you
right.
call him?
That's right.
With his
I
little
forget.
satchel.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. It was a little bit more cooler than that. I hope, right?
Uh,
But I didn't have a satchel. It was actually, this is the problem. I should have had a satchel. This is before these man purses became popular because now everybody has one, right?
I know I
Uh,
got mine.
all right. Well, yeah, I know. But I had it was like a little carry purse. It was not like no strap. So right. So anyway, I was packed up. Everything went to plan. Finished partying. Went to get my suit, my little suitcase. I had my little strap. and I go into the taxi. Now, I met a few friends while I was here, and they're like, "Oh, don't take the taxi; it's so expensive." And I was just like, trying to be frugal, and I'm like hip, and I know, yeah, right. So I tell the taxi driver take me to the airport. Now, what I didn't realize at the time was that there's two airports in Medellin, right? One is the local airport, and one is like the international airport. So he took me to the local one because my Spanish was horrible at the time. It's not still not that great, right? So, right. Um, so and I was like, no, the other airport, right?
Mm.
He's like, I don't want to go there, right? So he jumps any taxi. He's like, hey, this guy wants to go to the airport. He's like, all right, I'll take him. Right now, my friend, the frugal part of me, was like, "Yo, don't do that. Take the bus. You'll be there, and it's only like a fraction of the price." And I'm like, you know what? Okay, the hell with it. Right?
This is sorry. Let me interject here. This is a very different Rami than I know. Someone who just wants comfort, convenience, and everything at the
I know.
extra
I know.
expense.
Well, that's why I think this is sort of destiny. This is so because the things happen. But anyway, we'll talk about that another conversation, right? So I go in to the taxi, right? He takes me to San Diego, which is where the buses go to the airport, right? I get into the airport and I'm like in a daze, man. I'm like, I'm a little inebriated from the night, of course, right? But I'm also like, wow, man, what a great trip. And I'm just thinking about like all the greatness. And I'm like, I'm definitely coming back to Medellin. I never
Mm.
said I was gonna live there or anything. That was not my intention. I was like, I'm gonna come back
Mhm.
and visit, you know. So I'm just hanging out on the bus, right? Then I look down and I don't see my little bag, my little man purse. Look to the right, don't see my little man purse, and now it's like, right? It's like the now, oh my god, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit! Like I checked like 10 times. I'm like, I'm like, fuck, I must have left it in one of the taxis, right? So I'm like, señor, señor, you know, para el bus. And he goes, of course. He's like, why? He's on the highway going to the airport. And I told him, like, I lost my passport. The whole bus at that point turns to me and like, you hear the cliff, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a big deal,
Yeah, I know, but it's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, oh, so
You
he
would
dropped me.
be. You would be if you were on the bus with some. You'd be calling them an idiot. You'd be like, that idiot actually doesn't have their passport with them.
Well, I think they were feeling more for sympathy for me than anything. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
there.
that's.
Maybe I'm sure that there was one dickhead like you on the bus that would have thought that. But
I would. I'd be like, how did he manage that? That's the first thing you check.
yeah, bro, I never lost anything like that.
Mm.
I might lose my cell phone every once in a while or something like that, but never like my ID, never. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is so kind of like how this happened, right?
Fate.
Hey, I like to think so, right?
Okay.
But so I got out of the bus. Luckily, I had some cash on me in my pocket, and I called my friend who I met, and he was gracious enough. And that's another story. What turned out to be he turned out to be crazy, but uh, he was gracious enough to let me stay in his apartment, right? So I slept on the floor, and I had no IDs, so I had to go to Bogota, which was an hour flight, which I couldn't get on flights because I had no IDs, or take a chance to take the bus to Bogota and risk getting uh, uh, pulled over by the police, and because I had no ID, so I was like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. Plus, you know how I hate buses and stuff, so I wasn't doing that. So I was thinking, hey, let uh, my somebody from America send me like an ID because I had a few extra IDs in my house just for cases like this, right? Right. Well, that took a month and a half, Craig. For the month and a half, I was like in Medellin, right, stuck, right, and in that time, right, um, uh, I fell in love with Medellin. I was just like, why am I in New York?
Oh, so
Uh,
you fell in love with what? What were you doing in that month and a half that made you fall in love with it? Okay, I mean, you were partying, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, it was
Weather's
good. Yeah, of
good.
course, right.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know what impressed me so much? Just nature. How much the Colombians, well, and especially Medellin,
Mm,
value like the environment. They're all about like everywhere you go, there's a billion trees, right?
mm,
Between buildings, there's trees. The parks are filled with trees, different types of plants,
mm.
animal. I mean, that was like it was like it's almost like a perfect nirvana type place, right?
It's a good
If
point.
you
It's,
if you take away the crime element of it, right?
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk about that also, right? But it is. It's like and of course, I mean, you just have just very friendly people,
Mm.
right? I've never been to a place where they value saying good morning to you. I mean, it's just like a kind of I really
Sorry, what they
respect that.
they value saying good morning to you.
Yeah, like they'll okay. So if you step into New York City and you go
Mm.
into an elevator and you
Oh
say,
yeah,
hey guys, good morning, and they're like, first of all, you'll get silence and just straight statue faces. Someone will be like, what the fuck is wrong with you,
yeah.
right?
That's a
Right.
big
What do you want?
that's a
Right.
big thing, man. Like the lift game. In if you go to Colombia, you go into an elevator and people say hello, they say good morning, they say good afternoon, say good night when they go in and when they go out. It doesn't matter if they're going up one floor or to the top floor. It's bizarre in a way in the fact that like what like how can you do that every time you go in? But it's also a lovely thing.
Right. 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 I really value that. Right.
Mm.
I've been to like Madrid. Oh, what a fucking shitload of people they are. I mean, they're just so rude. They are. I mean, beautiful city.
I've got some good friends from Madrid.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm not. There's exceptions to every
Yeah.
rule, right? But I'm just saying, what like a
Do
rude.
you mean like the culture of it? It's like
I don't
it's that
know. I mean, I go to Madrid and I feel like it's like it's like New York times 10, like the ugly side of New York. That whole
really?
yeah, the matter of fact, like, oh, it's not my problem. Like, hey,
Mm.
can you tell me how to get? No, it's like, okay, that's really weird. Anyway, right? But the beautiful city though. Madrid is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever modern, historic cities I've ever been to. But anyway, we're not
Trying to
talking about.
save yourself there.
Well, no, I'm just showing you exactly how I feel. Being
Okay.
honest. I try to always weigh the both sides. Anyway, that's how I ended up in Medellin. Crack da.
There we go. There's the story. So it was just a big load of chaos, chain reaction of chaos, and 3 years later, you're still there. 3 years? I feel like it's been longer.
That was 2015.
Oh wow,
Um,
five
I
years.
didn't stay in. I went back. I went
Yeah.
back for a year just to
So what is it, 4
settle
years?
things.
4 years in
So
total.
and I came 4 years in total. That's correct.
Interesting. Maybe this is a good point to ask you. Like, what are some of the best things about Colombia that you love? Each day. And I'm not talking about the normal things that people say. I'll give you an example. One of mine is whenever you go to a little shop, a little tienda, you can go and grab a beer from the fridge and you can sit out the front of it, those classic kind of French style circular tables with the two chairs, and just have a beer.
That's dope. Yeah. Same thing with parks. I mean, in New York City during the '90s, I mean, you can never drink publicly. What am I saying? But it would be that atmosphere.
Mm,
We park, and that's what I really like. It just reminded me. It reminded me of the '90s for some reason.
mm,
Especially when I first came, like in 2014, 15, that time. It just reminded me. I was like, wow, what a great and like free kind of spirit this kind of this city has, right? Um, and I really enjoy that. Like I said, it's just like the best of both worlds. Multiple worlds for me. I mean, for me, some people like yourself
mm.
eventually like it for a while, then leave. You know, uh, for whatever reason, right? Me, I this is gonna be I'm pretty sure a permanent thing for me.
Mm.
Um, Not to say that I wouldn't go somewhere else for some time and come, but I think this is home. Pretty sure of it, you know.
Okay.
So and yeah.
For me, it's kind of a place of I don't know, man. It's just, when you visit places and they leave a big impression on you and you've got a soft spot for them, so you think fondly of them, you might visit them if you have the chance later in life, but also you're worried it won't be the same if you go back. But for me, it's just
Hmm.
we've talked about it a million times. I hate to kind of strengthen a stereotype, but for me, the reality was that I didn't feel comfortable living there. Like my day to day, I was always paranoid. I was watching around me.
Hmm.
All like so many of my friends got robbed multiple times, drugged. Like this is not normal things that should happen week to week. Uh, I don't want to have to go to my local like night scene and be watching myself and so carefully.
Right.
Um, Now, if you go to like places like Barcelona, we are very familiar about the pickpocketing scene there, right?
I mean, when I went there, it was Medellin times 20 as far as danger zone for me.
It's
Like
bad.
it was just.
It
I
is
mean,
bad.
I'm like, what is? And this is okay for Greg,
No,
but
yeah,
anyway.
listen, no, like Barcelona
Go ahead.
it's definitely one of the weird exceptions. Like on my first day in Barcelona, I saw twice um, people getting pickpocketed. It was like
Mhm.
it was almost, I don't know. It was like legends coming true before my eyes. Like people told me literally the week before, watch this, watch this, watch this.
Right.
And I literally
Right.
saw a group of three do the teamwork thing where one nudges, then the next one takes it, then the next, and then he throws it to the next one.
Right. Right.
Magic.
That's exactly good. That's a good segue into what I want to say to you. Right.
Hmm.
So I I was given some advice from a friend years ago, and he told me, and this is about friends, right? He said, treat people how they treat you. Meaning, right? Like even if somebody told me, "Oh, Craig's, a thief," don't trust Craig. I mean, of course, that would affect me, right?
Hmm.
But if you want true value, would be friends with Craig and see for yourself, right? So I kind of apply that to everything, right? Now you were, I don't want to say scared, right? But you were concerned, right?
Yeah.
In Colombia because, right? You again, grapevine stuff, statistics, right?
Hmm.
Which all are. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay attention to that, but you should go by right. But did you ever feel unsafe in
Yes.
Medellin? You did. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about your. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right. But did you ever feel or anything ever happen to you that hey, give me your money type
No, no.
mugging? And
And I'll tell you why, Rami. I'll tell you
oh,
why.
okay.
I really made such an effort of avoiding certain situations. I didn't go partying like the only time I went partying was whenever you were messaging me to come party. Like I didn't go. I had a group of
Gonna give
football
the wrong
mates.
impression about me.
No, but it's fine. It's fine. But right in other countries, I've got football mates, and then
Right.
it's a very normal thing to go partying after. And here, we all just went home. Or they
Well,
did like a pub quiz or something in the local area. It was all
yeah, right, right.
very, you know.
But that's what I'm saying because you were reading this stuff, right? You were like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, which is probably smart. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a smart thing. Yeah, be cautious, right? When I went to Barcelona, nobody ever told me watch pick. I mean, I heard about it, right? But nobody's like, yo, it's like, in 1 week, and I was only in Barcelona for 2 weeks, I think, a little less than 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks, I seen two people try to mug me,
Mm.
right? Me, I'm a pretty big dude, right? Right? My friend got robbed. 2 weeks. I mean, this is just a random poof. Two
Yeah.
weeks, right? My friend got robbed, mugged. In the news, a cop got stabbed on the beach. I was just like, what? I was at a friend's house, and one of their friends was stabbed by his wife or his. I mean, he was being so shady. I don't even know, but that's not the point.
Mm.
Bloody T-shirt. Now, I come from, Jersey City, New York City, Northeast. I'm pretty used to like crazy stuff happening, right? Violent stuff, right? But this was even more than New York when I went to. And I'm just saying, right? That's just me plugging myself in a random 2 weeks, a tourist, right? And I was exposed to all of this, right?
Mm.
If you went to Medellin for 2 weeks, right? What's the likelihood you think of somebody getting robbed?
I think it depends on the person and where they go and how they act.
Well, I'm just saying for every person. Just put a
But
general
it's not
kind
like
of.
that. It's not like that, bro. It's
I
like
mean,
I
yes, yes. I mean,
look
if you're
right.
female, you're more
No, no,
targeted. I'm
no.
just saying,
Well,
like, if like, let's just say the date, a general person, gender, without taking risky
but bro, I
behavior or
can't
anything
do
like that.
that. There's no way I can do that. If I
Yes, you
went,
can.
look,
Yes, you can.
Rami, let me look. If I went to Medellin as Craig in sort of more
Casa Ellie, Craig. How about that? Casa Ellie, Craig, because
is
you're a
that
little bit more.
a bit
You
more
was not
loose?
cautious. Yeah, you were not
I
cautious.
was cautious, man.
Not really. You was going out frequently and going out
No, no,
at
no.
night,
The places I
walking
no,
distance.
but the places I were going, I was going. It wasn't those places, man. It
Right,
wasn't.
right, right.
Like I was going to salsa dancing and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, but I'm just saying, like, my point is, you think I was going to rough places in Barcelona,
I
or
think
or my friend was
no.
walking on,
I'm
I'm just saying, like,
you just
there's a
asked me
general.
the question. 2 weeks. If somebody went over, would they get robbed? I'm
What's the
saying
likelihood? What is
Craig
the likelihood?
Craig
One out
cautious
of 10.
Rami cautious Craig going over. The percentage is much lower. Let's say okay, I'm going to give 20% compared to Craig, who's loosey goosey and is open to going to places, right?
Okay.
Higher, like 90%. You know,
That's so wrong. That is
Rami,
so wrong
if
because
you
90
look,
90% is Barcelona. 90,
Rami,
then what's Barcelona? 100% for you? I
we'll
mean,
look,
is
we'll put Barcelona to the side, right? We're talking about going to Colombia. Going,
right,
let's talk about going to Medellin. If
right,
cautious Craig goes over, he's gonna go to like his Airbnb. Maybe he'll chill in the local area in a nice area that's
right,
renowned for like being better.
right.
And then Mr. Risk Taker Craig, Party Animal Craig, would go to Jeras, right? And he would, meet people and he would get into these crowds. And
Right.
that, Craig, I'll put some money on him losing his phone.
I would disagree, buddy. You know,
I know we
I
see it way different.
yeah, yeah. I think likelihood of going to getting robbed in 2 weeks and on vacation
You
in
don't think
Medellin,
someone's
10%.
personality and actions affect whether or not they'll get robbed? What about
No,
no, what is it? No dad or papaya,
no dar papaya. Right.
right?
I mean, that's just being don't wear a Rolex to the hood. I mean, yeah, giving like.
That's one thing.
I mean, yeah, like I would you wear a Rolex in Harlem? To the word, like a
Cautious
dangerous
Craig,
section.
hand in pocket, phone away.
Yeah, it don't matter because they would.
Risk taker
Like,
Craig, phone
my
out.
my yeah, but my point is, Craig, right? Robbers don't think, oh, well, this is a high statistically area for us to rob people. Let's rob people here.
No,
No,
no.
they can rob you. They'll rob you on in the most lit street in the most lit. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
that's what I'm
Rami,
saying.
when
You
if
can't apply. Oh, my risky behavior.
let's say I'm just taking pictures and that, like walking down a like La Setenta or something, right? I'm like, oh, cool, and then the bike lane is there. Like any one of them could just go yoink and away
Yeah,
on it,
but
and that's easy. But if I have it in my pocket, I'm not attracting attention. That ain't gonna happen
well,
in public as well.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but that's like, that's risky behavior anywhere though. I wouldn't be doing
No,
that
come
anywhere.
on,
Maybe just
bro.
Japan. Maybe just Japan because I'm not wearing, But
Listen, if you
but
did that in
I would.
Japan, they would probably come up to you and be like, "I think you should probably put your phone away. You might get
No,
robbed."
no, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's very few places that you can do that in. That's what my point is. Versus the places in the world you can't do that in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if you want Setenta, for instance, right? Is it's in a barrio in Medellin for those that don't know. right? Where there's like restaurants and little bars, right? Like a main area, right?
Mm.
For instance, and you were doing that even at 7 o'clock nighttime, 7 o'clock, right? You think somebody's gonna just come
You
up and
you
rob
think
you
it's
because you're doing that?
you think it's all just random?
It is, yeah. That's the whole thing of it. It is random. Now, if
Oh
you go to
man,
more, because listen, you know what you know what the robbers started doing in Medellin? They started going to not to like the bad areas, right? Because you're like stay away from the bad areas.
the
They
more
started going to the good areas. You know why, Craig? I'm
because they
sure
got
you could
money.
imagine why. Exactly, because they know. So that's what I'm saying. You could be anywhere in Medellin and get robbed. Anywhere in the world to get robbed. That's not risky behavior. Should not. Yes,
But
it
it's also
increases it.
like, Rami, I'm very good at telling. Uh, I want to put this the right way, but there's some friends or people I've met along the way in Medellin, and I know they're going to get robbed. I know they're going to get robbed, and I know the people who probably won't. I know who's up for being a bit loosey goosey and for mixing in certain areas, and
Well,
you
man, I
know,
gotta go to Ireland. You're sounding like it's utopia. You could walk around and with your
imagine a
chains and
world where you
gold
can walk.
watches out.
Well, you don't have to be like.
Incredible. You know, I'm not like that in Medellin, by the way. And some stuff has happened to me, as you know. Here. But
Yeah. Oh, right. Has it?
all right.
It's all
Oh yeah.
chance, though.
Well, no, it is. It was chance.
I would. What would you say if we put a poll up? How many people? What would be the percentage who agree with you and agree with me? I hope to God there's some sane people here.
Oh, now I'm insane, Craig. No. If I'm probably 60 something your favor versus 40 something my
You're
favor.
gonna give it to me?
Well, because sometimes people are idiots and they don't
That's
know
what you're
how to.
basing our poll on.
Well, I'm just saying that I think the difference between my perspective and your perspective is that I have more experience
Sounds
and
like I'm
more.
20% more correct than you.
I was gonna say mid something, so maybe 15%, 10%. But no, no, no. I was gonna say that experience. Like I said, I've seen dangerous situations, and for me, Medellin ain't that dangerous, right? Versus what I would say about another.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, I don't. The thing is, no. Do you know? I feel. I actually really feel quite guilty talking about Medellin in this way or Colombia in this way because I've got a lot of love for it, and I want tourism to. I actually always recommend go to Colombia. It's just for me. I didn't feel as safe as I'd like to be for a long term thing. You know, I do when I came home, Rami. All my anxiety just dissipated. I was walking around. I was like.
ah,
Serious. I was like, if I
I
drop
see.
something, I feel like somebody's gonna come and pick it up and run after and give it to me. That's what I feel would happen here. Whereas there, I was like, I drop something, it's gone.
Well, I mean that I'm not gonna argue that with you. But again, very few places are like where you can drop something and it'll be returned to you. I mean, like I said, man,
Paradise.
New York is a really stressful area,
Hmm.
and it's because it's just a lot of people trying to, America's a dog eat dog world, man, and it's just that, especially in New York, that is the center of that.
Hmm.
Or that's where all that comes from, right? So that caused a lot of anxiety. So when I went to Medellin, it was a,
It was different. Yeah.
yeah, it was different. Yeah, I never got mugged here, by the way. So
Hmm.
people understand. Other things I've had like
Just.
my phone pickpocketed and stuff, and I did get drugged one time, but uh, another.
I love that you actually said it. It's good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm too honest sometimes, but
Hmm.
I know,
That's the way to
but
be.
that's the way to be, right? So yeah, but I don't hold that against those, and I do uh, blame myself because I always blame myself. Uh, I always look at myself first. I don't want to say blame myself. I always look at myself first. What I did to cause this, right? Um, and what I could have done differently. Because to me, you can't control. That's why I think it's so random because you can't control outside elements. I mean, you can have all the statistics in the world, right? And there's like, oh, 9 out of 10 times this will happen. But so what if that 1 out of 10 happens to you? I mean, the statistics didn't really matter, right?
Mm.
Right. So I'm always like, oh, this is all kind of random to me, like there is no statistics that can help protect you. But so yeah, I mean, I understand your point of view, but
Yeah,
I really don't think it's that dangerous
we've
as you make it seem. I
we've
think it's pretty
chatted
much.
about this these concepts.
Yeah, I
Remember
mean,
when
listen,
we used to play that game on the roof where we there was like a little like
hole.
drain pipe, or there was a hole in our rooftop, and we used to literally pick up these stones on just these like random stones and just play basketball with them.
Yeah,
It's so
we're just we're living life
it's like we had no
until
money.
its fullest.
It was like
Hey,
we were
Paul,
growing up.
hey, Tim, you wanna throw rocks at the wall?
And it was good. It
I
was
have a
good.
I have a tin can. But
Yeah. That's the purest stuff ever. Well,
yeah,
here, look, Ramy,
but
we're hitting about 50 minutes here. Anything else you want to
okay.
say?
In regards to Colombia, no. I mean, I really don't want more people coming here. So
So
no,
just
it's the worst place in the world.
don't come to Colombia.
Don't come
That
to Colombia.
it's something else. It's got a special place
It is. I mean, it is,
in my
man.
heart for sure.
Yeah. Exacto.
Exacto, exactamente. Right here, I'll let you get back to your tinto and arepas, and I'll see you soon, bro.
All right, Craig. Fun talking to you.
See you, bro.
Let's do this again.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
This has been episode 1.